a female.
All the other ones are sleeping, all the other ones like kissing babies. You know what? We should probably go in a couple of minutes, but I wanted to, oh really, we should go, but I wanted to tell y'all, you know what we just saw there? Where you saw this younger male was trying to mate with this cow, and then she's protecting her pup. Then she started squealing, and that got the older, and then he's like, hey.
Excuse me, that's my woman.
Right, or just, hey. So they can be very protective, because otherwise the poor females would just be, I guess you could call her, and the pups wouldn't get a chance to nurse them.
I thought there's one male they're naming female, not the other one.
Well, you know what, that's because they're not. A lot of females are just coming onto the beach right now, but what will happen is the males come on early because they want to have established their territory. And then when the females come on, this is a good area for having pups because it'll be protected in the storms, and there's not growth on, it's bare sand. And so the males come here and try to establish that they're in charge of it. And so what usually happens, you'll have one big male like this, or even bigger, and then you'll have other ones that are a little bit smaller that help him, that help fight off the other males.
Did the males try to kill the pups? What was happening?
Well, I think he was trying to mate with her, because the one that was trying to mate with her is a young male, and he doesn't really know the whole way to behave. And so I'm not really sure. They can just be real aggressive. I don't think he's deliberately trying to kill the pup, but it was just between him and the mother.
Okay.
But they have a lot of blood, so they don't usually, the bites usually don't cause any damage.
But they, other than the teeth, they don't have anything sharp to fight with.
No, they don't, like their claws don't hurt. They don't hit each other with their flippers or anything. Tar sands, and the sands here actually are tarry. And this is an area with the Monterey Shale, which I don't know if y'all have heard much about the fracking, but any natural resources here can't be exploited because it is protected.
What is the tar sand?
The tar sand, it's sand that actually has natural tar in it.
What
because
is
there
tar?
is a lot of tar. Do you know like what they pave roads with, the asphalt?
Oh, the black thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. But I don't see any black.
No, not in this area, but this, if you go further out on the point, there is.
Okay. All right.
This sand here, this sand was actually blown from further north up the coast around Montara. So let's say about 40 miles up the coast, say. Because they've studied what's in the composition of the sand and the different minerals. So the mountains along the coast eroded and blew back down here, over thousands of years. And that's what's making the beaches too. You'll see a chain reaction. See, that one's like, okay. And then this one's like,
oh, there's a fighting.
Hey, I'm bigger than you. And see how that one then backs off. Oh, okay.
Oh, backs off. Oh, okay. That's another male. Okay.
Yeah, but a younger one. So he's like, okay. It's so funny, you can almost
see the social.
Yeah, it's so clear. See, now this one's like, well, I'm really big too, dude. And that one actually does look bigger.
Okay.
This is a female here. They're going to be a lot smaller and not have any kind of nose at all.
Okay.
They'll just have a regular rounded off nose.
I see, they all have a nose, so I'm not sure.
Okay,
What's
like what will happen is if you see, like see this one that's sitting up and that one that's just moving there, see how their nose is
it's a hook.
That's why they're called elephant seals, because they have a kind of like a trunk. Though it's not like an elephant seal trunk that they can use it to do anything.
Okay.
It's just a sign like a peacock tail or something.
Okay. So how old is this one?
I don't know, probably about the same age as the other one that we saw, to see how their noses are about the same size.
So
maybe
the
like
older,
6, 7.
the nose is bigger?
The bigger. And remember, he's probably half the age he'll ever be, because they only live to be about 15 or so. But he will get definitely bigger and bigger.
So is this called an alpha, or is that?
No, he would just be, he's just
beta.
a young bull.
Oh,
or
yeah.
even a beta would be bigger.
Okay.
And then also, what happens is when they fight, they lose the hair on their chest to develop what's called the chest shield.
Okay.
And so then you can see it'll all be pink and scarred up. And then they'll also have that really big nose and be much bigger.
Which one is a male? Which one is female? How do
you can tell because only the males have the nose.
Oh.
The females their nose is just rounded off. But until the male, the nose doesn't start to grow until he's about 5. So until then, it's really hard to tell. And the only reason you can tell is if you see the belly, and then you can see the opening for the male's penis, which is just, it just looks like a circle. So this guy's probably about 5 or 6 years old. You can tell by the length of his trunk.
So how do you tell?
Well, just the size of their nose. And by the way, if by some horrible chance an elephant seal does come at one of us, or if one comes at you, they move in a straight line. So just move to the side as much as you can. Males and females usually go to different places. So almost all the females will leave, and this shows you the elephant seals' workeries are all along this area. The females will usually go out from their breeding grounds, and they will go out to an area that's off the coast, straight out from the coast of around southern Canada. They'll swim along. They usually make a loop, and then they'll come back. And right now scientists are trying to study to figure out how are they able to navigate in the open water, and how is it that almost all of them come back to the same breeding grounds, the grounds where they were born, year after year. They don't always, but usually they do. And right now the thought is maybe the way that birds are able to do their patterns by magnetism. That's what they're thinking is probably going on with the elephant seals. So the female seals go out here, and they go out in the deeper water. The male elephant seals tend to go along the continental shelf. So they're not diving as deep, and that's why the record for the deepest dive so far, this 6,000 feet, is from a female elephant seal. And so the female elephant seals, they eat fish, but they tend to eat more squid just because of where they hunt, and the males are eating more fish. And then the other thing about elephant seals that's really fascinating is when they are out in the ocean hunting and eating, they are by themselves. It's only when we see them on land in the breeding grounds that they go into these big, huge groups. And so when elephant seals are on land, they do not eat at all. The only elephant seals that eat on land, and remember they're on land for several months at a time, are the pups that are nursing. So all the adult elephant seals lose up to, well, even some of them can lose up to 50% of their body weight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Seals do not live as long as the females. They live to be 14 or 15, and the females can live to be in their 20s. But even so, the ones that are not old enough to breed, they come on land. The females tend to come in the spring, and the males to come in the summer. And so when the female's out in the water, she's had a chance to eat some fish and get some of her strength and condition back, the embryo will implant. Most elephant seals, once they're old enough to pup, they will have a pup almost every summer. And so obviously this is something that's evolved very, very successfully. And that's one reason the elephant seal population was able to build back up once they were hunted for their blubber almost to extinction. The actual gestation period is thought to be 9 or 10 months long. About a week before an elephant seal is about to give birth, she will come to land. And this starts usually around the start of December or so. And so you will have pups being born all the way from December through the beginning of March. And then once the pup is born, the female elephant seal will nurse that pup. Her milk goes up to 55% fat. Like cow's milk is about 4% fat. As the pup gets older, the milk gets thicker and thicker till it's about the consistency of something like mayonnaise or a milkshake. And sometimes you'll even see crows and seagulls coming in to try to get some of that milk themselves. Female, she said she's producing milk, nursing her pup, and not eating. She only nurses for 4 weeks. Then she goes back out to sea. A few days before she finishes nursing, that's when she comes into estrus and is ready to be mated. And so that's at the time where she's probably in a harem, which means like just a few males control the breeding. So they'll have maybe a couple of dozen to maybe 50 cows that are in their area. Then she'll go out to sea and start feeding again. What happens to the pups that are left on land? Well, they're all together. The fathers and no other elephant seal really has anything to do with the pup, except every once in a while a female that lost its own baby will take an orphan baby. What will happen is that they are learning with each other. You'll have these whole groups of what they call weaners, that is the weaned pups, who weigh about 250 pounds at this time. They're so blubbery they cannot even dive. They have way too much fat. So they all stay on land, building up their strength and so on. And then little by little they learn how to swim and dive. going further and further off the coast, and finally they go off on their own adventure, coming back in the fall for the first time. Now, not many of the pups make it. By the time they're 4 years old, less than 20% of the pups that were born are still alive.